All right, everybody, welcome back. Um, the final episode of this starter build, and things are coming along pretty well. What I'm realizing, though, is that I seriously need to get like a timer or something like that. Apparently, I just don't know how to tell time. I think episode 2 is like 15 minutes, episode 3 is 30 minutes. It's chaos, but hopefully altogether, it should be about, an hour and a half or something like that for these builds. Um, yeah, it is what it is. All the information down below, right, to download the completed starter build so that you can actually load that up and make a town from it if you'd like. If this build seems interesting to you, seems like an interesting start. Also, obviously we're just kind of doing this just to be able to explain sort of design theory and just kind of talk this through and just kind of as an exercise, right? This is literally just an exercise in building starter cities. You can apply any of the logic or the methodology that we're applying here to any city, right? So let's just keep going to town here. It looks like we're still getting more and more industrial area. Of course, the one thing to do would be just to buy a tile, right? Thing to do would be to buy this tile, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It might be the first thing you guys do. The first thing you guys might do is buy that tile just to be able to like mass expand the industrial area. But I'd really like to, I don't know, to not do that. I'd like to have had this be enough, but the base game just there's such a disproportional amount of industry that you need compared to homes and things. These big giant buildings just don't work. I think with realistic pop, right, this would be 41 workers or 50 workers, and there it's only 16. It's just not a huge dent in the job market, so to speak. So we do need to build a lot more industry with this kind of setup than we would if we're using like a real pop mod or something. A little bit of a commercial bit, but honestly, I guess this whole area is just becoming an industrial center out here. Apparently, I didn't know this was going to be a thing, but here we go. Here we go. We need more industry. It's crying for more industry. We could go wide there. There's going to be crisscrossing no matter what. Actually, let's make sure. Actually, some people are going to be going back there due to other reasons. So let's actually go a little bit wide. And with the one-way loop right there. But that should be all kind of, this should be just a big loop so people can always get around. And then, yeah, let's just, I don't know, I guess we just need more industry. What we could do is we could do agricultural. We could totally swing out here and do some agricultural industry. That could be good. We've done that once before. It's one of the earlier things. We could, I'm trying to think, forestry? Nah, I don't think forestry. There's nowhere that I'm seeing like it's screaming forestry to me. Maybe if we could get all the way out there, but we're just not out there yet. But I think, yeah, let's set up an agricultural area. And maybe, again, maybe we'll want a road that goes from here underneath the freeway that connects into here and stuff like that. So that could be good. So that's going to actually be probably a decent amount of... so set Briar Rose Hill to agricultural specialization. And then I think we're probably going to end up wanting to curve this. Let's go with this flow. And then we're going to be kind of going with the flow of the natural fertile soil here. Because I was just looking at this. This is a big empty space, right? So I'm grabbing onto anything I can. I'm seeing fertile soil. I'm seeing a few scattered trees. And I'm seeing this right here. So I think we're literally just kind of going to be going with the flow. And making an agricultural area. And hopefully... this is probably going to be the main road that just goes all the way through. And then let's do some dirt. I like doing a lot of dirt for my agricultural areas. But I'm just wondering if we could do... and would this look good or would this look bad? Just doing like a 2020. Just doing a shape like this. Again, it's sort of, it's creating this shape out here actually is more interesting to me than this shape in here. But I think, I think we have something here that's gonna be fine. Actually, what I'm wondering though is what if we do 10, 10. I mean, does that, we're getting a little geometric here, and sometimes I feel like that can work. And sometimes that kind of doesn't work. But I think if we fill this in with residential, or sorry, agriculture at this point, I think it's going to look good. But it is kind of like odd that it's like this uniform in shape. What we could also do is probably have some additional roads and maybe, now I'm just thinking, okay. Do we want, do we want something that sort of encompasses the outside frame here? It's an 89.4. 9.6. Can I get the lock here, please? I'd really appreciate staying locked on there, but it's not. 9.6 might be the best we can do. Might be the best we can do, but something like that, just to kind of break it up and make it look a little bit more interesting. I'm almost thinking about redoing these angles down here, though. Doing a single curve, right? Instead of doing whatever the heck we were doing there. I think we were trying to go with the micro adjustments of this a little bit too much. But let's just do something a little bit more smoother and something that's going to complement the geometric shapes going on here. That looks a little bit weird, mostly because we're just transitioning between dirt and non-dirt. But I think for the most part, that's kind of getting us the look that we were going for. Now, we do need to do this. How are we looking on money? We got enough money. Hook up these pipes, I guess, is a little bit of a redundancy, although not strictly required. Power is going to be an issue out here. Now, if there was good wind, I was going to say if there's good wind power out here, it might actually make thematic sense just to kind of put a wind turbine out here, since this is an agricultural area. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that makes sense. Now we'll just do that, but eventually as this grows in, we should be able to bop. That should be able to connect once this is completely filled in. So that's going to kind of bop down some of our, how many workers are getting in here? You know, anywhere from 16 actually for the small field though. Okay. So about 10. Some of these, I guess, are low as 4, but that's a small building. So that should give us a good amount of jobs, right? Because that's what we need right now is jobs. That's what we need right now. Just going with the flow here. Now out here, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, do we actually want to do some growth off of the dirt road? Nah, I think this would be better served as like a park or something probably. Also, I'm noticing this is getting far enough away from the freeway. It's looking a little janky, and again, we could fix that, right? We could probably just add something like this. No one's going to actually, pedestrians aren't going to use this path, but at least like, right, it kind of just fills that in, doesn't make it look so janky. And okay, here's a little bit here that looks like it needs to get filled in. And this is just purely just, you know, a little bit of styling here in a situation that's like just not important at all. Just not important at all. In fact, actually back here, it's looking goofy, but it is what it is. So we just lined that with a little bit of dirt, basically. Thickened up the dirt road. We have some decent money. We could look to drop down. Fire's doing fine. Police, you know, having a police station up here would make a lot of thematic sense. I think it could sort of swivel back if it needs to. Healthcare, more healthcare. Healthcare for out here would also be very good. I just wanted to fit there perfectly, so let's get it down there. But otherwise, you know, I think for the most part, let's go back to speed 3. See what we can get done here. Fill. That's decent zoning there. It's not great. Something like that. I mean, you could almost make that like local produce if you had green cities. You do like a little cubby of little grocery stores and stuff in an area like that. I think that makes sense. If we needed more commercial, we got tons of places. We could just keep lining the coast here. Easy. If we need more industry, we can just expand the agricultural area. So this is actually looking like a pretty well, sort of pretty fleshed out city here. And I think really we're just kind of letting this run for a little bit. We could go in with some more parks. We could definitely try to squeeze in some more parks to make people a little bit happier. Spend this money. Spend money to make money. That's kind of one of the things that this game kind of has us do. I think actually just even going in with the... of course, now that we're on the European, we have the tennis courts, which are pretty cool. But going in with some like basketball courts and things like that makes sense. Maybe a tennis court sort of near the... Actually, you could even do like a tennis court area kind of near the high school, right? I think actually we're going to want to bop a lot of these homes. I think we're going to try to get parks into here. And I'm going to be using Anarchy to get these down, right? I'm going to be using Anarchy to get these down. But even if you don't have Anarchy, these will all load without issue. Without issue. So it's kind of just putting a bunch of parks near the high school and stuff, right? This is actually very... I'm not gonna lie, guys. The the map theme that we're doing here is with this LUT is very bright. I hope you guys aren't being blinded. I have a I actually have like a blue light filter on my monitor, and I know you can just download programs and stuff that'll do that. So that's probably making it less crazy for me. It might be super crazy for you guys. I'm not sure. Power issues. We know what to do with those. What's the next real good power source that we get? I mean, oil power plants, I think, are condensed enough, right? These are 6 advanced wind turbines and 1 plop. I mean, the weekly cost is definitely higher, right? But at least, like, it's a lot of energy, just 1 dump. Super simple. Of course, the solar panels are great. These are great, but that's 17,000 to get all the way up to there. So yeah, I would say you would eventually just go to oil. You know, just spacing that out so that the pollution is not an issue. Of course, any of the industrial areas create pollution. It's not really an issue unless that spills over into the, like the industrial areas already create pollution, so it's not a big deal. Unless it's spilling over into the residential, which, you know, it's easy to avoid that, so it's easy to avoid that. This is actually looking pretty good, pretty blue out here. This is a little bit, I like this part quite a bit. Fills some really nice sort of shapes, but it is a little bit more expensive actually compared to the other part. Busy Town. Is this the first time we've actually hit 4,000 in a starter build series? It might be. No. We got to 4,500 in the last one, I believe. Because we already had the higher level headquarters and stuff built. Actually, a big firehouse would make a lot of sense, because we need something out here. We need something. Ooh, wow, look at this. First time we're going to need to build more water. Now this is, of course, this is very tight right here, right? Eventually we could just start putting water pumps out here. All we need to make sure of is that this water doesn't backflow, right? That the sewage isn't backflowing, but I think the current here is strong enough. There's not really going to be any way that that's going to be possible. But it's really good. It's going to try its hardest. It's going to try its hardest. So just keep an eye on that. But this is a pretty strong current from what I can tell. We are getting some more of that commercial demand. Easy enough to just go like this. But what I'm wondering actually is, are there more power sort of traffic lights? What was I trying to say? Power lines? Traffic lights that we can get rid of here. Looks like there's tons of them. Yeah, the boulevard's a really cool road, but what's not cool, and I'm just going into the traffic routes, right? Junctions. This was actually added to the game, right? There was a lot of mods that came out very early on that let you customize this, but this is actually something that was just added to the game for free. I believe it was patched in with mass transit, but you don't have to have mass transit to have this functionality. I I never do stop signs ever, ever. And none will ever be created by default. There's no combination of roads that create stop signs. So that's what this priority road thing does. Like you click on a road, you make it a priority road. Well, all this doesn't do anything. This doesn't make the road a priority road in the AI's mind. All this means is that the stop signs will be auto-applied to the side roads that go onto the priority road. But since the AI, like stop signs in the AI, it doesn't work like it does in real life. So yeah, for the most part, whoa, I gotta say the planes look a bit goofy with this LUT. They just look like flying saucers or something. So yeah, don't be deceived by the priority road system. This is not what we think. What are we doing right here? Just roads? Did we make this priority road accidentally? No, we didn't. It's just showing that this is the road. Okay. Anyways, there you go. This is looking good. This is just kind of filling in, right? We're getting a little bit of residential demand. It kind of makes me want to zone this back bit. That's if we had skinny roads, right? If we had skinny roads, we could probably fit a road back there, though. Parks back there and stuff like that would be good. We're kind of filling this out. You know, it might even make sense to have some residential around the agriculture. That would totally make sense. We could totally come in with a little residential neighborhood back here. I think one thing we wanted to do, we said we wanted to actually get a way for this to sort of all connect underneath. Let's do that. Let's just do like a little, like a very humble sort of dirt road connection here. Just let the city sort of, and this is where things just, you can see that the money's just going crazy, right? Population's still going up a bit. Money's going kind of crazy. We're just kind of, that's really all we're doing, right? Is we're just sitting back and enjoying the city and letting it make us some money, essentially. So this is obviously kind of a goofy, what's the distance there? 19. I mean, this is goofy, obviously, right? This is goofy, but do we even, please tell me we have freeways to be able to do this. Also, we need to make sure that we go in, right? And clip this so that it gets back to the right side. Yeah, this really isn't that effective in a way because, yeah, this is kind of goofy. Because this needs to be able to, right? We do need to then have a road that does sort of something like this, right? Which is, this is going to get really busy. But I think we want it. I think we want it. Go back in, clip. Clip. Probably even over here too. Don't know why that building right there is still green, but why that little bit right there is green, I mean. Okay, so that's all growing in there. We do need, of course, we can't leave these like this. So let's use fine road tools to just sort of easily kind of go through and elevate these up. And I think we have the freeways that we need to do this. Dang, that is crazy to me. That is crazy to me that the only freeways you get in the base game are this. I'm just like, I'm looking at this, I'm just like stunned. Yeah, network extensions, guys. If you're downloading, you know, if you use mods and you're downloading stuff, make sure you're getting network extensions, because this is unacceptable. 2 freeways is just completely unacceptable. Of course, mass transit helps with that. Network extensions gives you the same roads though as mass transit, so you don't need mass transit for the roads at least, because the mod will give you the roads. Guys, there we go, guys. There we go. We have a wildly successful starter city here. This one might actually be a little bit bigger, definitely more condensed than our other ones, but I think this will be a good start, right? I think we can see how this is curving down and creating this is an interesting grid that can be continued into this area. Of course, we have sort of grid that can go along the water here and continue this way. We got the train lines to be able to use cargo. trains eventually there, which will be nice. We got commercial coming up this way. We don't really have a defined downtown area. Heck, a downtown could be, you could make a plateau up here and put downtown like over up high on the hill or something. That'd be kind of opposite of what you'd expect. Maybe you'd think downtown would be down here on the water over here or something. But maybe it'd be kind of fun to put the downtown like up high in the hills or something, right? So, but we can kind of see how things will kind of just naturally sort of go and ebb and flow with the hills. I think the hills here are actually going to be kind of an interesting asset in a way, right? Kind of like boxing you in, kind of like keeping you sort of narrow, right? The city's going to be sort of a narrow build, I think, on this map. But everything you need is down below the save file, and that's all you need. It's just a save file for this one, and a couple trees, but it'll all be in the one-click collection. And I'll also link to the visual setup that I'm using, which you can use any visual setup that you want to run the game. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching another starter build. I think we can call this one completed. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you guys in the next one.